I would ask my distinguished guests to join me to the stage. And yes, I would like everyone to take a seat. And actually, I have the pleasure to discuss a very exciting subject, the sustainability and carbon, which is, I think, over the last 1.5 years, so many discussions around this subject, and I'm very glad and very thankful for the organizers to bring this topic here to the main stage. And I have on the stage through distinguished guests and an additional one going to joining us online. So I have Branislav Siklienka. He is representing the Green Roofs Association of Slovakia. I have Martin Baláž from Prologis, Vice President for Czech Republic and Slovakia. And here on the stage, my guest also, Mr. Gabor Szarvas, who is representing Greenbors, Hungary, consulting firm, but also he is a member of the Hungarian Green Building Council board. And I will also ask my technical colleagues if Mr. Adam Targowski from Poland can join us on the screen. And while we are waiting for Adam, okay, hello Adam, great to see you online. And just let me emphasize when about 2 years ago, with the organizers of this exhibition, I started to discuss what can we bring to the stage regarding sustainability. One of my main messages was that certainly in a regional conference, we have to bring experts and thought leaders from regional countries. And I'm especially proud that we have guests from Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland. So basically, the Visegrad 4 are present here with us. My first question would be part of the introduction, as the theme of our discussion today is sustainability and reducing carbon. I would like to ask Adam, you first, if you can tell us what does sustainability mean for Skanska and how your daily sustainability work is translated to carbon reduction. If we can switch to Adam, and if you get my question, we would be happy to hear about Skanska's perspective.
Good afternoon. Yes, I got your question, and I can proudly say that the company I work for, so the Skanska, has established climate target in 2019, and we have committed to become climate neutral. And that might sound really easy, but from the standpoint of such complex organization as Skanska is, and complex not only internally, but when it comes to the operations, actually it is quite ambitious target, especially that what we have announced is not only becoming climate neutrality within our operations, but it also includes the whole supply chain. So then that's a great piece of work to be done not only by ourselves, but by the whole industry. So the whole real estate, construction materials industry needs to go the same way. And it includes as well so-called sold product. So for the properties that we develop, we're also taking into account, we're also taking care of what happens with the operational footprint of these properties in the whole lifetime. So bearing in mind our business model that we divest properties while those are leased, it means that we're taking into consideration and taking care of the 50, 60 years that we're not around, so to say. So that makes us working very hard on different levels, starting 2019 or even actually earlier. We have started collecting the information and the data many years before setting up the target. But at the moment, climate target, carbon intensity are the terms that are present everywhere in all the aspects of our operations, starting with IT and the car fleet, how to make it more carbon efficient, through the products, so through the design of our office buildings, and finishing with very big work that is undergoing with the whole suppliers market, with the whole building materials market that is, I would say, critical to achieve this target.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I've heard two very important terms. One is climate neutrality, which is an important target for Skanska, and the other is the supply chain and how you can source materials, let's say green materials and sustainable materials. But you were talking about construction and buildings, and I think this leads really well to Martin and the operations of Prologis, which often for ordinary people are huge logistic centers where manipulation of trucks, goods are taking place. So as Prologis, how do you see sustainability and carbon in the region?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, my name is Martin Baláž, and I have a pleasure to represent company Prologis on this stage. Sustainability, I would say, like 10 years ago, it was some kind of must, or let's say, it was more marketing tool than a real commitment, I would say. Of course, we were committed to sustainability, but the real measures have been taken in let's say last maybe 7 or 8 years, and last years were the main measures. And for us as a company, sustainability is currently one of the top topics in the company, and we are trying with every new development to improve our buildings and to make the buildings, of course, greenery, not only with a strip on the facade as a Prologis branding, but green in a real way. And things like LED lightings, or these are pretty much standard. We are equipping our buildings with sensors, with the moving sensors, with daylight sensors, with measuring systems of utilities, where every customer can on his mobile phone check the consumption utilities, control the utilities. These are the things that have been implemented in the building technology in, let's say, last 5 years. But for us, sustainability is not only energy consumption. This is really something that it's mainly only about the cost of the building. But for us, sustainability is as well about well-being of people in our parks and relationships with communities where our parks are located. And we are building in our parks football fields. We are building other facilities that are improving the well-being of our employees, of our customers. Or for example, in our, let's say, standard technical specification, you can find things like a really high percentage of skylights that improves the daylight in the halls, or higher standard of offices, of social areas for employees. So these are all things that we see as a part of sustainability, not only energy, but well-being and community relationships as well.
Excellent. Thank you. And you touched some really exciting parts, like inside the building, what sort of technologies you use, the best way of energy efficient lighting when the sun does it for us. I think that consumes the less energy. That's also great. And when we talk about the buildings and the roofs, I'm certainly there is something we can learn what green roofs means. And Brano, if you can explain how your organization is helping companies become green as the color itself.
Hello. Thanks for invitation. I would like to say that our association was established in December 2020, so we are pretty young organization. Our aim is to spread the benefits of green roofs and green infrastructure through Slovakia and through investors, architects and projectants, and the green market in Slovakia or market of green roofs and green facades is at the beginning. We are just starting and comparing to other countries, we are not good in a good position. So we are just teaching how to do that. But everything abroad is known. So we have just to take it and spread it out. So we would like to help also the companies like Prologis and other types of developers that are doing buildings to do also the greenery, not just looking for some building materials and so on, but when we are doing concrete buildings, pavements, all is concrete, so we have to do also some greenery there.
Excellent, and I'm sure that in the audience, but also here on the stage, we have many questions about green roofs. So definitely we can help you explaining how does this really work. And looking around here in the exhibition, how many companies are operating in large buildings, I'm certainly aware that they would be interested in more details, so we can get back to that.
Maybe I would add that I have also the company which install green roofs, so it's not only theoretical, but I'm doing that. So
okay.
If anybody has some questions about some technical issues, so that could ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. When we have these buildings, there are already tenants on the horizon. It's always a question about financing and how financing institutions are going to invest. How do they know if a building is really green? Is it part of the marketing exercise, or are there tangible results? I think these are the questions that Gabor and his team is examining every day. Can you elaborate more on what Greenbors is doing?
Yes, thank you very much, and hello everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here and discuss at this forum about sustainability in the context of logistics. And I think the there are many reasons why we should speak about this topic, and certainly at my company, I mean, we are doing a lot of work in cooperation with real estate developers, operators, and owners of such building. As a consulting company, we work with primarily commercial clients who want to have sustainability integrated into their business. And that's why we also joined the Association of the Green Buildings Professionals under the umbrella of the Hungary Green Building Council, where we also try to have as many people as possible dedicated to this topic. It's not long ago that the Green Building Council in Hungary was established, but it's already more than 11 years, and it's part of a network of the World Green Building Council umbrella, so representing really a large community of such expertise. Now, back to your question, I mean, why is it a relevant topic? I mean, I think first of all, we should all really think about our future, our planet, and this is the number one reason why we should really discuss sustainability. Obviously, there are many other reasons, and what I'm glad to see these days is that this is also a topic which is being discussed in business circles, and the reason for that is that there are many businesses like the companies represented here, big developers like Prologis, construction companies like Skanska and the like, who are actually, for example, members of the Green Building Council in Hungary, so they take it seriously. And there is also another interesting group of businesses which become more and more active, and that is the financial sector. And the financial sector is now taking this issue really on top of the agenda, and much of our businesses these days is actually looking to make to help these businesses to find sustainable investment opportunities. And this is where I believe an interesting time is when really money actually met with the maybe greener ideas of some technical and environmentalist ideas, and hopefully let's already put a positive and optimistic voice to this table. This might really bring some results soon.
Excellent. You mentioned results as an important factor, and anytime green issues are discussed, it is often questioned, okay, tell me numbers. People are often interested in numbers and tangible results. So for the next round of questions, I would ask each panel members to think of a number which is related somehow your activities and sustainability. And while you are thinking, let me share from my experiences a number. My company supports logistics and real estate developers really in the beginning when they are looking for properties and land. And I looked at the most recent data for Central and Eastern Europe, that the last half a year, the largest demand for new logistic space was over 500,000 square meters in Poland, and the Czech Republic and Hungary is almost the same, around 250,000 square meters. So this is a space where a certain area of land will be occupied, and actually my primary role is helping developers finding space for renewable energy, which is also occupying thousands of hectares these days, especially Poland and Hungary, for example, for solar projects. So where to find this land? Often brownfield areas are selected, former area close to railway or a former industry site, abandoned lands. And this is where we can support companies. And I think this is really an exciting part from the beginning, how to reutilize brownfield areas, and in this way help the environment twice. First, to recover and clean up contaminated land, and second, not to occupy valuable arable land or rich biodiversity areas. So over 1 million square meters every year we can think how to utilize sustainably in the V4. Is there an interesting number, Gabor, that you would like to share when it comes to sustainability?
Absolutely. I would give maybe two. So one is that, I mean, obviously, these initiatives which we talk about haven't started just yesterday. So there is already good history about best practices, companies implementing, for example, green buildings in the region. And I just checked before this meeting that in Central and Eastern Europe there are over maybe 1,500 buildings already certified under a green building scheme, most popular being in this part of the world, BREEAM, Green Building Assessment Scheme. And in some countries and overall in the region, actually logistic buildings already take up a good 30% of these buildings. So it's actually a quite nice representation of this sector within the built environmental sector. So that's a good sign. I think that this sector is taking this idea serious and have been already working on it. So there is a good start. But I have another number, and that's actually 0. And 0 is obviously the emission target, which is now we should put for ourselves when we talk about decarbonization and carbon emissions. And this is also a target which the European Union also set forward in the Green Deal, and now many individual countries are also putting their targets as to reach that 0 emission by 2050. Now this is not an easy one, but again, talking about finances, the European Union also identified green and sustainable products which are to be promoted with green financial mechanisms, and also typically these are the products where the emission factor is 0. And this is applicable for logistical operators, for building owners, many alike. But again, I think this is the best number to have in mind when we talk about sustainability these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this one we will remember. And just to reconfirm, 2,500 certified buildings? That's all right. And the reason I'm asking is just for the ones following this discussion online, it is maybe, I'm not the only one, a bit strange after how many months of sitting in home office in a silent environment. Now we are actually on the stage of a lively fair and exhibition, so it's sometimes challenging to distinguish the background noise, and I think it's also kind of the exciting part of being live again. So thanks for both numbers. Can we go, Brano, for your number?
Maybe I would like to present some market overview, just to compare Slovakia to other European countries or our neighbors. If we are looking at the market, European market, we could take Czech Republic, that is very close to us, and the data are from 2019. In 2019, the Czech Republic has 1.8 million square meters of green roofs, and the prírastok, jak se povím?
Edition.
In 2019, their growth almost 300,000 square meters per year. Austria growth in 2019 1 million square meters, and for example, Germany 7.2 million square meters of green roofs. In Slovakia, we don't have any data because we don't have statistics about green roofs. But from my point of view, we have only couple 10,000 meters of green roofs and maybe 200, 300,000 square meters, and we are growing per year maybe 1,000 meters. The biggest roof that was finished this year was big bus station. It has around 12,000 meters. So, as I said, we are at the beginning of the growth, and I hope it would be the new green market. But the next years will show up. So, what will happen?
Excellent, excellent. When you are talking about green roofs, maybe it's helpful for me translating it to hectares. So if I'm correct, 1 million square meters is like 100 hectares, which is a significant number, if that's correct, you mentioned for Austria. But even each 10,000 square meters new, meaning 1 new hectare of green area in, let's say, urbanized or built environment, which is impressive, each new hectare, let's say, this way.
Maybe just one point, who is driving the growth in Slovakia? That are the developers, not the sole clients, but the developers, because they are doing 1,000 meters every year. So we have to maybe support the other side of the market, and we will see.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. We will get back to this. What can be helpful, the driver and the incentive for the developers then to make green roofs? Martin, I'm aware that you and your company were involved into several research. So maybe I give you also the chance, as Gabor did, to pick more than one number. If you think, please share with us.
Yeah, I have a lot of numbers
in
my mind. But first of all, I want to say that it's amazing how many square meters of green roofs are already in Czech Republic and Slovakia and Austria. I haven't been aware of that, so really really nice achievement. And I would love if all our roofs are green, but currently it's not, I mean, economically and technically it's not feasible for us, but hopefully one day it will be a standard in all our new developments. But back to your question, we as a Prologis are running a lot of research, and we are usually cooperating with universities like MIT and others, and we are really trying to quantify the impact of our activities on the environment, and like with the real numbers on a CO2 and on locations of our buildings, and how this is impacting the environment around us. And we have found several really interesting things. First is that I will start with COVID. That COVID has significantly impacted e-commerce growth, and it significantly increased the growth paths of e-commerce. And we calculated that each percent, 100 basic points of e-commerce penetration against the moral bricks retail will bring only in US demand for another 5 million square meters of warehouse space, and it's only US. And in Europe, if our consumption is slightly lower, then it's let's imagine, but still it will be in millions. And penetration of e-commerce has been increasing by 2, 3, 4% every year in our region. So we calculated that only in Europe, the new demand until 2025, only from e-commerce, will be approximately 10 million square meters, and it's driven only from e-commerce. And but I mean, one would say that it's like too much, and it will be like a huge impact on environment. And if these buildings don't have green roofs, then it might be like bad for environment. But it's not true. Another study we have done with University MIT that probably everybody knows from US is that actually last mile logistics, if companies are storing their goods and transporting their goods from locations close to main cities like Prague, Bratislava, Budapest, Warsaw, and other like Paris and München, it's reducing the carbon footprint of one delivery by 36%. If those companies would transfer their distribution to, let's say, more electrical vehicles, then they are able to increase it to 50%. I mean, increase the decrease. So to decrease their carbon footprint for one delivery. One reason for that is that imagine that if you are shopping in standard shop, you go when you buy grocery, you buy electronics, you buy your shoes, t-shirts, and everything, and you have to go for each item to some other shop, and that's increasing the carbon footprint of each item you buy. But if you order it on e-commerce, let's say from Amazon or Alza or other like big e-commerce companies, it comes to you from one source. And we calculated that one delivery van can replace 100 item purchases. So by calculating the carbon footprint of each activity that's needed for delivering each item, like transport, packages, that in e-commerce is higher because everything must be packed. But even with this, the carbon footprint for one purchase item is 36% lower. So on one side, one can say that warehouses are, destroying the environment, are shades or are not nice. But on the other side, having the warehouses closer to main cities is decreasing the carbon footprint. And that's our main global strategy, to really focus on big municipalities, big cities like Paris, Prague, and as well Bratislava, for example, and to be as close as possible. And by that, we are contributing to carbon reduction as well.
Thank you. This is, I think, a very valuable information, what we learn every time when we talk about green and how green are certain things, is we are learning that there is no black or white, and even the green has many shades. So I'm very proud anytime people are asking me, okay, renewable energy is great, but what happens with the wind blades? What happens with the solar panels? I think it's a very good question, and great that people are asking about life cycle. 50 years ago, when coal power plants were built, nobody really asked and not really considered decommissioning. Now, whether it's conventional or renewable power, we have to think about decommissioning as well. So it's very good that we don't say this or that technology is green, but we put numbers and we put science behind our statements. I really appreciate this. Let me ask Adam if from Skanska perspective, I'm aware you are responsible for a dozen countries in the Central Eastern European region. Can you share a number or two from that region related to sustainability?
Yeah, so let me share one internal number. Actually, it's not a dozen. We have operations in 5 Central European countries, and when it comes to development, those are 4 countries. So it's Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and Romania. And so the first number would be something that I am very proud of, and that relates to certified properties that we have developed. As we know, office buildings are much smaller than logistics, but at the same time are having a great impact on the environment and people that are working in. So the first number would be 1 million square meters that have been certified at Skanska Commercial Development Europe. And that means a workplace for approximately 100,000 people. And that's very important from the standpoint of the environment and the standpoint of climate, because this the certification, LEED certification that I'm mentioning is covering both. So that's the internal one, and the common one would be actually 29 years. So bearing in mind that within the construction industry or real estate industry, I would say, correct me if it's wrong approximation, but in logistics, development process takes around 12 to 13 months, and when it comes to the development of some other buildings, office buildings or residential, from the acquisition of the land to building to occupancy permit, I would say it's roughly 4 years. So in logistics, we have quite many iterations to do, because bearing in mind these 29 years, it will be around 20 projects from now, 20 something projects from now to reach climate neutrality, while in other classes of buildings, it's just 6 to 8 projects that we can develop to learn how to become climate neutral in line with the European legislation. And I'm mentioning that because in relation to what had been said a while ago, we need new buildings, whether it's a storage warehouse, and there will be more of that, definitely. We need new buildings to live, we need new buildings to work. So then there is a huge task ahead, all of us, to actually learn how to develop climate neutral buildings and do it within actually few iterations. So you mentioned a while ago, 50 years ago we haven't been thinking about life cycle. Now we're thinking, and actually in a bit more than 20 years we have to make this life cycle neutral.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Adam. And I absolutely agree that these considerations are extremely important. And actually, we have an opportunity to opening questions to the audience. So I would like to ask the team, the technical team, to put the code on Slido for questions. And I'm also aware that my guests here on the stage are practitioners related to buildings, certifications, sustainability. I myself would have many practical questions related to green roofs, for example, but I have the privilege, I had the privilege to ask, so I would give the floor if Martin, Gabor, you would have a question to Adam or Brano. Feel free.
Yeah, maybe if I can start one maybe direct question, but I was always wondering the cost part of the green roofs, because I mean so far, let's say in Czech Republic or Slovakia, when we are considering our developments, I mean, our perception is that it's a really expensive solution. Only roof is one part, but the structure of the building and everything, it's like the impact on the cost is like enormous. And currently, unfortunately, in Slovakia, the rental levels are not supporting that, and unfortunately, companies in Slovakia are not able or willing to, let's say, pay the premium rent to get this kind of features. I fully understand it. I mean, everybody has his budgets, and you are doing business for profit, not for having a green roof. That's one part. In Czech Republic, for example, the rental levels have been increasing like enormously, and I think we are getting to the stage where us as developers will have to start thinking about this kind of features, and it will in maybe short future it will start being feasible, economically feasible, or there will be chance to implement these kind of things. But I maybe would like to ask you if you can share with us what, from your experience, the average cost of implementing the basic and high-level green roof on a building.
What do you think? How much is that per square meter?
I would say it's in hundreds of euros per square meter.
Hundreds of euros per square meter.
Yes.
No, so it's much more better.
Okay.
Yes. It depends how you green the green roof. If you use the sedum mats or sedum plants, and it's the difference in installation costs. So if we are talking about the alternative of sedum mats, that green roof looks like finished, all is green. So we are talking around 50 euros per square meter without VAT. So all the labor cost and material costs are included.
Yeah.
We are talking about the green roof when you are planting the plants, 20 plants per square meter. So the whole cost for green roof are around 37 euros per square meter. So one is on one side it's investment, but on the other side I'm talking that it's not good to see like an investment. You have to look forward some savings, maybe some energy costs and costs for maintenance of roof insulation and so on. So it's not whiting the installation cost of gravel roof or classic roof and green roof. So you have to maybe consider long-term or maybe 5-10 years, 15 years interval.
Yeah. And can I maybe ask you as well, what is the average weight of the green roof?
It also depends which way you install the roof. There are two possibilities. If you are using substrate, the average weight per square meter is around 120 kilos. And you can also do light-weighted roofs that is much more suitable for logistic parks or warehouses where the static conditions are not so high. So we are talking maybe around 70 or 80 kilos per square meter. So there is also the option how to do that when the static conditions are not enough for substrate roof.
Yeah, and this is the main issue with logistics buildings. That I'm getting to this point that one side is the cost of the green roof. I mean, putting the substrate and the greenery. Second part is the structure development. That you have to increase static of the building significantly to be able to bear, 100 or 120 kilos per square meter, plus technology of the building and everything that comes to have the building operational. So this is the main cost. And I'm really glad to hear that the cost for the green roof itself is decreasing. That's really great because 5 years ago the cost was completely different. But I'm glad to hear that. But I think in logistics sector we are still a bit far, maybe in Slovakia a bit far from being able to implement these kind of structures. But I think it will be only improving, and as well the push on us developers to implement it, and our customers are starting to talk about it. That's a good sign. So I think on one side we are far from having it as a standard, but I think we will see first examples of this kind of developments in short future, definitely.
I heard the example of Jaguar in Nitra. They were considering green roof, and they have some researches and comparing the energy cost with green roof and without green roof. And I didn't see that, but I just heard it, that study was positive for green roof. Then they can save energy cost for air conditioning, but they decided a little bit other way. So there are positive examples, also positive examples from abroad, but as I said, we are at the beginning, so I hope we can cooperate in 2 years, maybe.
Maybe, yes.
And I guess if there is a green roof, is it possible that a bank gives a cheaper loan and might pay it back? So, Gabor,
maybe I would have an additional question for them, because when you are doing with the certificates, does the green roof put the positive points to certificate or?
Yes, absolutely. Already the existing schemes promote such measures, and it's absolutely contributing to the overall scoring or result when you do calculations. But I think there is also the important element or aspect of green roofs. Typically you would think about, it's great, it's green, so it captures carbon, so it's good for the environment in this respect. But there's also another aspect, which is that it's helping also to mitigate climate risks such as flash flooding and the heavy storms, which is something unfortunately we are looking to have more and more. And this technology and some others, of course, or this technique is obviously contributing to that. And that's something which actually quite recently become more and more interesting for many companies to also consider the resilience of the buildings in this respect, so the adaptability to the changing climate, because unfortunately, this is we are all hopeful that we can reduce carbon emissions, but the existing carbon in the air is already leading to significant changes which will happen. And that is why, and going back to your question, if you look at the the new EU regulations which promote green financing. A very important element of that is that in order to call or identify your activity as sustainable, you must meet also the criteria that you're getting ready for climate change, and you are doing assessments and you are taking right measures to make sure that this unavoidable change will not badly affect your operations, your buildings, whatever. And that's something I tell you here and to the audience that I mean, from the years to come, already next year, maybe some of the banks and some of the financing partners will ask you about this, whether you are prepared for that, and that I think will hopefully provide also room for more business opportunities also for green roofs in the not so far future. In this context, I also wanted to ask, Prologis representative Martin, because we also know that the logistics sector has also many initiatives and to become more sustainable. There are many companies also here promoting the sustainable changes. There is an international program called the Lean and Green program, which is specifically designed for the logistic sector to help the decarbonization efforts. But do you see that in your partners, the tenants of your operations, that they are asking more from you as a landlord to provide them not just cheaper facilities, but also more sustainable?
Yeah, it's actually a very good question. Thank you for asking that. I would say that 5 years ago, there was almost no discussion on business meetings about sustainability, really almost no. And it was us pushing and paying and financing all this because we knew it will be standard in future. So we were like overpaying the development costs. But today, I would say 80% of our negotiations with our customers, part of this discussion is the environment and the certificates and what kind of features we are implementing in the buildings. And it's really great to see that even occupiers and customers in our buildings are really keen to get some environmental features in the buildings. It as well depends where are you talking to customers. Again, comparing Czech and Slovakia, for example. In Slovakia, the main focus is price. And as well, some combination with environmental aspects. In Czech Republic, where the rents are much higher at this moment, or Germany or other countries where the rents are even higher, then there are customers are requesting as well to get this kind of environmental features more and more in their buildings. So to answer this, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm glad it's becoming part of these discussions, and it's some kind of push on us as well, not to sleep and to be like satisfied with the status quo, but always look for better ways. For example, 3 years ago, we developed a building in Prague specifically that got BREEAM Outstanding certificate. It was second building in Europe and third building in continental Europe and third building in whole Europe. It's like one of the greenest warehouses in a whole region. It was 3 years ago. Today, having BREEAM very good or excellent is becoming some kind of standard. So I'm glad to see that, and I hope more will come.
The word price was mentioned both in the questions and the answers, and I recall last week one of the leading Italian power company CEO was giving an interview that actually they are selling solar panels 1/10 of the price as they were selling 10 years ago. So basically the domestic solar business has not changed much, but the price is 1/10 for the same capacity. So when we talk about price, it's also the question in what time horizon we are looking at price. And Adam, I would like to ask you telling us prices, for example, on construction waste or wastewater, sewage prices, because these are elements of, let's say, the cost of pollution. And in some countries, this is the driver for recycling, not the price of the raw material, but the price of dumping the waste on sites. How do you see, is it also a price element changing in the region?
I would say, referring a bit to what has been said, there is more and more business models working and can be seen when it comes to construction sector. So you have just mentioned the solar panels, 1/10 of the price. So just 10 years ago it was something exclusive for few, and it was more to have something that we can be proud of and to talk about, while now it is the reasonable energy source, right? So I would say that this straightforward example is something that we can see also when it comes to materials, building materials. And exactly as you mentioned, seeing that the cost of dumping the waste is higher is the reason for companies to look for some other ways to utilize something that used to be called a waste, but now it becomes a resource. So putting together all these sustainability agendas, all these environmental elements that that we have discussed a while ago, together with the business model that starts working, it is definitely one of the major reasons and drivers for materials manufacturers to start sourcing in the places that has been so far very much neglected. So something that we used to call a waste now become very much a resource. So then closing the circuit, making it more circular, what we can see is making the materials more sustainable, as it doesn't use that much raw materials, and at the same time it can prevent price increase in some group of materials, because that's something, I mean, those are some untapped sources of the materials that are to be used for production.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Adam. Some of the technologies and solutions we discussed, I would like just to give a small promotion to this evening's award ceremony, because actually there will be a green award, and without picking any of the companies, the 4 shortlisted companies, one of them, for example, working on digitalization and route optimization for logistic companies, an IT company, and in the same time calculating CO2 footprint. So exactly what Martin, you mentioned as a research. Here in the region there is a company working on that, and there will be port operators or even an airport company highlighting their green initiatives. So I encourage everybody to look at the award when it comes to the sustainability as well. But through the audience, 2 questions came, And I think the first is for Prologis. The question is about the future of our region from energy supply, and I would add from the price of energy, and the renewable sources. How the property investors or operators approaching increasing energy prices and the availability of renewables?
Yeah, it's a good question. And energy price increase is one of the hot topics in our company. We know that the price will grow for the energy itself. We are trying to, first of all, we are trying to acquire as cheap energy as possible. So we are combining multiple countries together, and we are trying to, and the consumption of all our properties, only in Czech and Slovakia we have 1.8 million square meters of properties operating. So the consumption is it's huge, and we are trying to combine them and have it as a push on suppliers to reduce the prices for our customers. That's first thing. Of course, in other countries, unfortunately not yet in my part of the world, that's Czech Republic and Slovakia, but in other regions, we are trying to implement like solar system, battery systems. In UK we implemented Tesla batteries in a building, charging during the day from the solar panels, or and then using the electricity during the evening hours. But all these projects are still about our initiative, our investment, and actually the investment is still quite significant. So it's not let's say self-sustainable at this, or it's not like economically feasible from economical point of view, but it will be increasing. There will be more and more these kind of projects. I'm sure it will come into our part of the world as well, that solar panels will become standards, and maybe green roofs. I don't know, but definitely I don't know what will happen, and I don't think would be fair from me to say what will happen like for sure, but definitely we are at the beginning of the let's say sustainable journey, and not only us, but all our competitors and brokers and companies like your companies are talking about it and are increasing the push on the market. And I'm sure we will see positive changes in this world. But right now, in let's say in our countries, we are still at the very beginning, I would say.
Yeah, actually, I think the way of the tendencies like self-sufficient warehouses or battery storage, we see that this is happening, and really the question, when will this happen in certain parts of the world? And just from my side, the future of let's say energy, a very good example from the United States. A month ago, Walmart, a huge retail company, started a renewable power program for their suppliers. So if you are a producer, a manufacturing company anywhere in the US supplying Walmart, you can buy renewable energy through the Walmart renewable producer. And there is an IT system, a kind of energy broker run by Walmart's power supplier, and you can get for this. And actually even Amazon is discussing where you can buy with your washing machine the power from Amazon as well, which makes also a lot of sense. So we see that. The second question is also a very good one. So let's say we have strengthened roof for a logistics center. The banks are financing it happily because it is resilient. But then, should we put solar panels or green roofs? What is the answer for that?
I would say both, because, and I will say why. There is one research, it is maybe two months ago from Sydney, from bitumen roof and green roof, solar green roof, and the numbers are very clean. The bitumen roof has in summer around 50 to 80 degrees. In opposite, the green roof has only around 30 degrees. So the warmth from the roof is not pushing to the solar panels, and they have a better efficiency. In a long-term period, they have up to 4% better efficiency. In peaks, when it's very hot, has efficiency better up to 20%. So the answer is, if you are combining green roof and solar panels, you would have the synergy of that. And we have the numbers for that. So it's not just a feeling, it's a hard data.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. So
maybe we would start cooperate sooner.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. I think we have covered all the questions from the audience, and we are kind of arriving to the final round of my question, which would be more a personal type of question, is about, let's say, 2022. And when we are looking at the next year, regarding your professional work, and all of you are somewhat involved to carbon and sustainability, what makes you most excited as your pet project, which you prefer working even after Friday 5 p.m. So if you can share what is in the pipeline, and obviously not confidential, I would like to hear any of these projects. Adam, if you have something, your personal favorite sustainability project.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I'm looking, because we're working very strongly on finding different low carbon solutions. So I'm looking forward to implement this next year, and definitely and mostly we're about to conclude the development project of Targowski solar cell facade. So the innovative solar cells that are working efficiently, also while in vertical position on facade. So I'm very much looking forward, and I hope that next year will be the one to have a large-scale pilot to show to the world how it works.
Excellent. I will be really curious to see how that will look like in real life. Here on the stage, Martin. Yeah.
It's a very good question, and as I said, very open and personal question. Yeah, I mean, what I can share, I think our biggest challenge will be even to satisfy demand of our customers. As I was mentioning at the beginning of discussion, we are expecting demand for warehouses to be like booming, and we already see that, and next and the year after, we will see it even more because of the e-commerce growth. So I think our biggest challenge will be how to even satisfy the demand. So I'm not saying that the sustainability will be somewhere behind, but this is the main issue development companies are facing at this moment. Find the land and develop the warehouse for our customers. This is the issue number one, because there is no land, very limited land, and construction price increases, many challenges. But from, let's say, sustainability point of view, our main focus will be, as I said at the beginning, the well-being of employees in our parks. I mean, to deliver as many features as possible to increase well-being in the park, like sport fields and other areas. And of course, green activities are as well important, and like LED, all the sensors, and installing the new technologies to our buildings. But this is something that I wouldn't like to share at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I could start. No, start.
Yeah, no.
When I'm looking at the market, green roof market, and comparing the last year to this year, there is a growing demand for green roofs. There are big projects coming. I know that one logistic park near Senec, it's 70,000 square meters, is considering green roof, but it's at the beginning. But a lot of big projects around Branislav and big cities are coming. Also, the architects are planning the green roofs for the project. So, I'm optimistic. What would be maybe good for Slovakia to have some leader in this agenda, because when I'm looking for some politics, there is nobody except our president, which is leading the green agenda, but nobody other is there. So I hope they would find some people who would be passionate for that, because we have a problem with climate change, and we have to do some steps to make it better. So it's not just about economy and money, margins and profit. It is also about our future, the future of our children. So we have to think about that globally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Exciting.
Okay, maybe on my side, I can mention, I mean, the most important project which we believe will make the most impact is the one we are working with on behalf of the Green Building Council, together with the Hungarian National Bank. And what we are doing is developing certain guidelines for the bank to give to the commercial banks and also the fund managers operating in Hungary, where they can define, what green real estate, real property would be, so that the bank, based on that, can give better interest support and really provide financial means to make these buildings spread more in the country. So that's I think it's a great project, and we hope that next year it will bring a really substantial change in the commercial real estate sector. But actually, my pet project is rather to work with my own company and with our own offices. We have a saying in Hungarian that often the shoemaker's shoe is the worst condition, because they work for somebody else, and this is also something we do often, that we help other companies, but our own offices and our own building is actually something where a lot of energy improvements could be made. So hopefully next year we can focus on that and improve our own sustainability. So that's it.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for all these. Actually, the way I see really promising tendencies, and maybe it's relevant for all of your businesses. And what makes me excited for the next 12 months is the tendency of large corporations, as we've heard here at the panel. We belong to companies with carbon targets, and these companies operating and present in Central and Eastern Europe, they are the drivers, for example, for green energy. And it's not eligible anymore to use carbon credits from developing countries and using those emission credits to pledge for local emissions. But these net zero targets mean that the company has to have renewable production in the given country, or at least in the given electricity territory. So therefore, these companies are demanding for green electricity, not only logistics centers, but they also need green power. And that will be the point, that it's not the government subsidies anymore, but these corporations are driving the market. And it's really exciting to see that they are already coming and initiating tenders, and this is happening already and in the next months. And that's, I think, the point to conclude the discussion. I myself enjoyed really much, not only the panel members and the great sharings, but to keep eye contacts to the audience, and it was great also to involve Poland from the distance. So thank you, Adam, for joining. Thanks for the technical team and the audience for the questions and listening to us. And I hope see you all next year at WOF 2022. Thank you.
Thank you.